Hey everyone! Today we're going to jump back in time about 2 millennia to dive into a really dramatic family story from an ancient Buddhist text called the Yu-ye Sutra. It's an incredible tale about pride, respect, and believe me, a truly unforgettable intervention.
This ancient text isn't just some dry philosophical book. It's actually a super vivid story about a family that's basically on the verge of falling apart. And they're dealing with problems that honestly feel surprisingly modern.
So, let me ask you this. Just imagine for a second. A new member joins your family and their pride, their arrogance is causing chaos for everyone. They refuse to show any respect. What do you even do in that situation? Well, that's the exact problem right at the heart of this story.
Okay, so let's meet the key players here. The story is centered around the household of a man named Anāthapiṇḍika. He was a wealthy and very devout guy, well known for being generous to the Buddha. The whole conflict really kicks off when his son gets married to a woman named Yu-ye.
Now, Yu-ye is described as being beautiful. She's intelligent, but she is also completely consumed by pride. She looks down on her in-laws, she looks down on her husband, and she refuses to do her duties or show them even a little bit of respect. And as you can imagine, the entire household is just thrown into turmoil.
So the family's in a really tough spot, right? Punishing her just feels wrong, but her behavior is absolutely poisoning their home life. If they ignore it, it's only going to get worse. So feeling desperate, they turn to the one person they believe can actually get through to her, the Buddha himself.
Anāthapiṇḍika goes and invites the Buddha to their home, really hoping that his wisdom can somehow change Yu-ye's heart. The Buddha agrees to come, and what happens next is, well, it's a truly remarkable intervention.
So the Buddha arrives, and everyone, I mean everyone, comes out to greet him. Well, except for Yu-ye. In her pride, she just hides away in the back of the house. So the Buddha responds, but not with words. He responds with a miracle.
This is where things get wild. The sutra says he made the entire house transparent, just like it was made of crystal. And suddenly, Yu-ye was completely exposed. There was nowhere left to hide. She saw the Buddha in his radiant form and was just so overwhelmed with awe that she finally came forward.
So, now that he's got her full attention, you might think he's going to scold her, right? But he doesn't. Instead, he delivers this incredibly powerful teaching, a lesson designed specifically for her about behavior and responsibility.
But the Buddha begins his teaching in a really unexpected way. He first lists what the sutra calls the 10 hardships of women in that time period. Now, this wasn't about being cruel, not at all. The whole point was to humble Yu-ye, to show her that her pride didn't exist in a vacuum, but within a world of shared struggle, and maybe to get her to feel a little empathy.
And from there, he lays out this really clear moral framework. As you can see here, he details 5 good actions and 3 bad actions. The good actions, they're all about being diligent, humble, and faithful. The bad actions, on the other hand, are all about selfishness, anger, and disloyalty. It's like a direct roadmap to living in harmony.
Okay, so once he's set that foundation, the Buddha presents Yu-ye with 7 archetypes, or 7 types of wives. And then he asks her to choose which one she's going to be.
He explains that pretty much every wife falls into one of these 7 categories. Some of them, he says, lead to happiness for everyone, while others, well, they lead to suffering.
And here they are. You can see the split pretty clearly, right? 5 of them are presented as positive models: motherly, sisterly, a good friend, the wifely wife, and the servant wife. And then 2 are presented as destructive: the enemy wife and the life-taking wife. Let's just take a quick look at a couple of these up close.
So the first positive type is the motherly wife. The idea here is that she cares for her husband with that same deep, unconditional concern that a mother has for her child, always looking out for his well-being, always protective. And then for a huge contrast, you have the enemy wife. This archetype is just filled with anger and contempt. She's always arguing, she's disrespectful, she's neglectful. The sutra even uses a really harsh comparison, likening her to a vicious stray dog. The difference couldn't be more stark.
After hearing about all 7 of these types, the Buddha looks directly at Yu-ye and puts the question to her, which of these will you be? Her reaction is the absolute turning point of the entire story.
The sutra says that Yu-ye just breaks down and starts weeping. Humbled and full of regret, she finally understood the harm her arrogance had caused. She tells the Buddha that from that day on, she will strive to be like a servant wife, which is the most humble of all the positive roles, and she promises to never, ever be arrogant again.
But to make her commitment real, she formally asks to accept the 10 precepts for a laywoman. And this is a huge step. This isn't just about her role in the family anymore. This is a profound spiritual commitment to living an ethical life, guided by these core Buddhist principles, like not harming, being truthful, and overcoming anger.
And with that, her transformation was total. The source of all the conflict was gone, the family was healed, and harmony was finally restored to their home. So as we wrap this up, we're kind of left with a final thought. This ancient story presents a really dramatic path to personal change. What does this 2,000-year-old narrative really reveal to us today about what it truly takes to teach, to learn, and to inspire a profound transformation in someone? It's definitely something to think about.